Welcome along to episode 853 of the Mill Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. Coming up on the show this week, we catch up with Arlene Phillips as we talk about keeping moving to make sure that we feel better in our older age. Dr. Hilary Jones will be along to remind us about taking our flu vaccine this year. We'll be catching up with Scottish international rugby star Rhona Lloyd, talking all about the sport. Rod Bissett from the Grange Players let us know about their latest production, MindGame. We will be having a bit of a natter with the houseplant doctor, Joe Bagley, about how to keep our greenery around our homes looking good, and the fact it'll help us feel good too. We catch up with the producer of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, which is at the Grand this week, local lad Chris Harper, and Barney Worster is another local person, his time a student and entrepreneur, who'll be telling us all about the Treat Easi. On top of that, it's almost Christmas. The Lichfield Garrick are hosting Shoddy Theatre. We'll be finding out about their Christmas Carol, a version of, with Becky and Mitch a little bit later on. That's all on the way on the show this week.
Welcome to the Milk Bar. 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 Welcome to the Milk Bar.
Now, with more than half of caregivers saying their health suffers due to their caring duties, it could be they need some care themselves. Make sure we can keep ourselves fit and healthy at all stages in our life. I'm joined now for a bit of advice from Julie Robinson, fitness expert, also Arlene Phillips, TV personality and choreographer. Good afternoon to you both.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Now, Arlene, obviously, throughout your entire life, you've never stopped moving. And whether we're trying to choreograph a trip to the shops or whether it's something a little more spandex covered, then there's all sorts of fun ways of making sure we do keep our groove on.
Oh, completely. I think the discovery that dance movement is so beneficial for both mental and physical health. Because it's music and movement together where we can breathe, we can expand, we can enjoy moving. And it makes massive changes both to the body and the mind. And when we're now talking about caregivers throughout the United Kingdom, there are numerous people who are looking after their own family. Very often they're looking after, let's say, grandparents or helping out parents, helping out with grandchildren. They are non-stop giving care, many trying to also have a job. And the stress and strain that they're under brings us to who is going to care for the caregivers.
Yeah, and I say that stress and strain and making sure that we can keep moving does mean we have to look after our joints too, doesn't it, Julie?
Oh, so important. And I think that the survey that was commissioned by GOPO, Joint Health Supplement, has really highlighted the fact that half of carers are relying on pain medication because of joint pain. So it's very tempting to stop moving, and they found that 1 in 5 actually stop being physically active. Really, that's the last thing that we want them to do, because the more we can help people to move, keep those muscles strong, it supports the joints, it's going to keep them well for longer. But if we can bring in some movement and music, like Arlene's mentioned, then it doesn't feel like exercise. So it's finding ways to support carers to build activity into their daily life. And we've got tens of thousands of older people at our Move It or Lose It classes all across the UK, but particularly around the West Midlands, where it all began, who would never normally exercise, who are often carers, particularly for people with dementia. And they come and have a bit of escapism. You get Dancing Queen on and suddenly everybody's moving.
It is all about the music, and to say there are tracks which really get us going. Arlene, come on, what song can you not help but move to as soon as you hear it?
I want to dance with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It says everything, and the music just helps you move. Find the freedom in your body just to enjoy the idea of moving. And what people really need to understand, that walking is only one step away from dancing. Put music on, walking time to the music, and then start expanding the walk. You've got your 2 minutes of amazing health-giving movement. So just do it or lose it.
Absolutely. And if you are looking at giving it a little bit of help, the extracts of rosehip in the Gopo range really do help with joint health, according to their research.
I've tried it. Trust me. I think 2017 was the first time that I tried it. And I have a great belief in nature. Nature can help us. And I'm telling you that, these old knees, they're not great, but at 82 years of age, I think my bones are considered pretty strong.
Well, yeah, but you have been working those bones hard since I don't know, going back to we got 8 decades of use there. But I mean, the dancing and choreography over the years it can take its toll. And the team at GoPro did actually send me some rose hip based to try, because I was getting a few problems with my hands, and I found it to be an interesting alternative to other than taking anti-inflammatories, which would have other impacts on the body. And Julie, we like to think about ourselves as a whole. We don't necessarily want to feel like we're taking drugs, but we're quite happy if we're taking something which feels more natural.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think from the survey, people were saying they were taking pain medication, but actually they were looking for a better and more natural solution to help them with their joints. And that's why I think with the clinical evidence that is behind Gopo, which is most unusual with a supplement to actually have this placebo trials, can give you the confidence to think that it could be really beneficial for you. And anything that helps people to keep moving is going to be of benefit. And then just feel that they are able to do the things that they enjoy for longer. And that could be just simply having a walk or getting out in the garden or dancing around the kitchen.
Well, Arlene, I mean, obviously we're going to keep you dancing for at least the next 20, 30 years, aren't we? So we're expecting some good movement then.
Well, that's something I can only dream. I've got 2 grandchildren. And so in terms of my health, I'm determined to stay as healthy as I can for as long as I can, so I can watch my little granddaughters, who are 4 and 6, grow up.
Well, I mean, I wish you all a wonderful time there with the family on that one. Where can we go for more information about the Gopo supplements?
Yep, you can go to the website, which is gopo.co.uk/caregivers, and they've got lots of tips and practical advice to help support carers. And for anyone wanting to come along and join a Move It or Lose It class, come along to moveitoрлoseit.co.uk.
And because your classes aren't far away, whereabouts are you based?
So we from a Birmingham office originally, and now we've got classes all over the country. But yeah, we have got classes in Wolverhampton. So just come along and give it a go. The first class is always free. Give it a try, and everybody loves it because it's so much fun.
Absolutely well worth a go, and obviously check out that Gopo range as well. Arlene, where can we find what you're up to at the moment? Are you just relaxing with the kids mostly?
Oh no, I'm busy. I've just worked on a show in Edinburgh called Footballers' Wives, based on the television series. It's a musical, and we are working on that to go on a tour.
Oh, that's going to be good. Well, you have a great time with that one. I know you'll enjoy it, and you will not stop moving. That's the way it's going to work. Arlene Phillips, choreographer, TV personality, absolute all-round star, and Julie Robinson, fitness expert. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, with the clocks changing, nights drawing in, it's time we got some vitamin G. We need a bit of outdoors. We need some fun. We need maybe a house plant or two. The houseplant doctor, Joe Bagley, is with me now to tell us more about how we can green up our homes. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
All good here. So, I mean, the lifestyle, our moods, they're all affected by our environment around us, and there's nothing better than having something sat in the corner producing oxygen when we need it.
Definitely. And lots of people love house plants. It brings nature in. Plants and Flowers Foundation in Holland found that around 52% of people find benefits with house plants. Obviously, I'm definitely one of the 52% of people. And so do too with the large flowers as well. So if you get beautiful live flowers, you can get gladioli, roses. Those really will bring a lot of nature, a lot of scents inside as well.
Yeah, because I mean, we don't get that many plants which will flower inside our homes at this time of year, even though they're in a nice warm environment. I mean, you've got your Christmas cactus, and that's pretty much about it, isn't it, really?
They are difficult. Peace lilies always are the most difficult plant to get to flower. Weirdly enough, what I always recommend is if you buy multiple of the plants, so like a parlour palm, peace lily, and put them into one pot, it's almost like companionship plants.
Hmm.
They do tend to flower much easier. The only plants which can be a bit difficult are roses, so you've got to make sure they're in a cool window over winter. That will seasonalise the plant, then they'll flower in springtime as well. Of course, they produce really nice scents as well.
So, yeah, and I think that's, again, natural air freshener in your home. Having some flowers there
Yeah,
really does make a difference.
definitely. It really, really does.
Now, something maybe like an aspidestra. I mean, they just sit there and sort of green up your home all year round. Do they ever change? And what sort of things do you need to look at if you do have one of these that's sort of been either with the family for generations, or whether you wanted to add something like that to your home?
Yeah, no, the history of aspidistas is a fantastic Victorian plant. They're from Eastern Asia, so they're actually hardy. So they're really good for people who live in, Welsh cottages, houses that have very bad insulation or very small single glazed windows. These plants can deal with very cold temperatures. The best thing I recommend doing is don't overwater them. So almost water them like a cactus. So trenches between droughts. Only allow the soil to dry out in between waters before giving it another good flush of water, and make sure it's lukewarm as well.
Because succulents are another good one. Cactus is succulents, and say aspidestras. These are things that you can manage fairly easily.
Yeah, to be fair, there's what I would call a plug in and play plant. So you put it on the windowsill, you water it infrequently, and the plant will be fine. You'll be really happy. The only downside, if you have these plants, don't put them more than 2 meters away from a window. They don't always like it, so closer to the window is better with them.
Hmm. And when you do put in something maybe like an orchid, I think they get a pretty bad rap for being difficult, and they're not as difficult as people imagine, are they?
No, no. It's with orchids, you read what the roots are telling you. So there's different colours to an orchid. So what you want to do is, because they're kept in a plastic transparent pot, you only water the orchid once the roots in the pot are silver, like a greyish silver, glauca colour. Whilst the roots are green, they don't need water. So even if the bark looks dry, feels dehydrated, but the roots are green, don't water. The number one issue with people is they overwater it. They water it once or twice a week, or they let it sit in water for too long.
Mhm.
That causes the root rot. The flowers drop off, the leaves look really angry, and the plant is really not very happy. So yeah, read the colours of the roots. They tell you everything you need to know about the orchid.
Although, which sounds like we could make it a little bit stressful with an orchid, we actually they will make us, yeah, relax more, won't they? And it's about that environment that is so much more what we're used to from before we started building houses and having semi-detached things and this lifestyle we have now.
Yeah, and the house plants, they really do bring back the basic need of what people need. They need greenery, they need foliage, flowers, etc. So yeah, the orchids are one of the easiest plants in terms of flowering to actually have, as long as you look after the root system.
What's your favourite plant to have? And don't worry, the plants behind you, we will we won't tell them.
No, hopefully they don't listen. Well, there's two. My favourite species is the oxalis. So it's a purple shamrock plant. They've got 3 leaves per petiole per stem. They fold down at night like an umbrella.
Hmm.
In the day, they point up, point towards the sky, a bit like satellites, and they move. So I call it a semi-pet, because the plant that literally moves throughout the day. Mine's about 8 years old, so it's not like a one-hit wonder. They don't die after a few weeks. They will live for years and years. And the house plant specifically that's my favourite is a Christmas cactus,
Hmm.
the traditional Christmas cactus from the 80s, and that's 65-ish years old. So it
Wow.
is a multi-generation plant. It's what I would call a living family heirloom, because it just gets passed down the generation. So when I have kids, if the plant's still alive, I'll pass it down, hopefully.
Well, if it isn't, we've got something to worry about, because if you can't look after plants, we'll all struggle. So I know that it will be fine. That's the important part. But we're approaching that time of year where there's this gifting of bulbs taking place. And again, they make a fantastic addition to the home, don't they?
Yes, no, so there's hyacinth bulbs. You can even try daffodils inside. They can be a bit more difficult, but people do. In March time, February, March, usually you can actually buy potted daffodils that are already flowering as well, florists, local florists will sell them. So you can just put them on the windowsill, and they'll be fantastic. And then what you want to do, once the flowers drop off, the leaves die off, you can either keep it in the pot, keep it in a cool area like a shed or conservatory that's not heated, or you can plant it literally in the garden and they'll come back each year. Same as hyacinths. They can be really good as houseplants, but equally, if you want something for the garden, you can pop them there as well, bring them back inside. So it's a really unusual plant to have, bulbs are.
And if somebody gets an amaryllis for Christmas, what's the best way of getting it to have multi-year flowers? Because and in my family, we have had some that lasted like 4 or 5 years before they've completely depleted the nutrition in the soil.
Yes, so the amaryllis, definitely keep them indoors. They're from South America, but the best thing to do with those, again, is just be a little bit harsher with them. It sounds pretty horrible, but just be a bit harsher over summer. Barely water them, because they're a plant that produce flowers more so in the winter/early spring, so when the temperatures are cooler. So whilst the temperatures are warmer, just make sure you don't overwater them, don't give them too much fertilizer. So you want to kind of show them who's boss, just so they start to get a little bit of stress. And then come winter, they should have the little flower heads developing from the base of the bulb upwards where the leaves are. Some people cut the leaves back over winter. Some people leave them all year round. It's completely up to you. There's not really many studies on what's better or worse. For mine, I let them leaf over, so lots of foliage, come until about October, November, which is about nowish. Cut the foliage back so the plant has nothing left in it, and then it should produce flowers, hopefully in time for Christmas as well.
But we do need to think about feeding many of our plants too, don't we?
Yes, no, feeding's really important. If you're someone who forgets to feed or never fertilizes, the plants won't die straight away. It's just on a long-term thing. So if you want, like that 60-year-old Christmas cactus, if you want something to last a long time, regular feed's really important. So the best thing I would recommend is any leafy plants, like what you can see behind me, philodendrons, you've got begonias, monsteras, peace lilies, devil's ivy, rubber trees, anything like that, which is like a leafy plant. Every third water, great time to fertilize the plant. Florists will sell it, garden centres will sell the products as well. Cacti succulents, naturally they're grown in quite leaching soil, so basically the nutrients and the water drain through the soil so quickly, out of reach of where the roots are. You only need to fertilise them every third month or so, very rarely. And then orchids, use a specific orchid labelled fertiliser. They have a richer form of nitrogen, basically means the plant is better going to flower, it's going to produce better leaves as well. So yeah, orchid foliage, orchid flowers for orchid fertilisers if you can.
Where can we go for more information on all of this? I know we can find you on the socials, but I know the Plants and Flowers Foundation Holland has also got some help too.
Yes. Yeah, no, so if you go to Plants Flowers Foundation on Instagram, there's lots of information of tips and tricks on house plants, also with flowering, so cut flowers as well, because they're quite cool, like the anthurium, which is a house plant. Cut the flowers, they last 5 or 6 weeks as a cut flower, not just as a house plant. So there's lots of little tips like that they recommend. And then on the website, it's plantsandflowersfoundation.org as well, further information on plant care, etc.
And of course, we can follow you to the houseplant doctor, Joe Bagley. Thank you for joining us.
That's okay. Thank you for having me.
Now, with the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe at the Grand Theatre from the 28th of October through to the 1st of November, it'll be a trip back into our childhoods as well as into a magical world of all sorts of creatures and those having conversations you wouldn't necessarily expect. The producer of the show is Chris Harper, who's with me now. How are you doing, sir?
I'm really well, thanks. How are you?
All good here. And this is direct from the West End. And if the trail on this is anything to go by, this is just an absolutely awesome piece of beautiful looking theatre.
Well, I'm very proud of it. I mean, I think it's, theatre is one of those kind of industries. It's a labour of love. And certainly I'm super, super proud of it. And very excited to be bringing it back to my sort of home territory, really. It's sort of where I grew up, really. So I'm super happy to be bringing it to the Grand Theatre.
Yeah, I'm going to guess, based on where you were born, this is the theatre that was the closest to you and is one that must have a special place in your heart.
Yeah, both the Grand and the Birmingham Rep were the theatres that I kind of used to go to on school trips when I was a kid, growing up in Stourbridge. But the first time I ever saw a show ever was at the Birmingham Hippodrome when I was 5, and it was at that moment that I thought, this is what I want to do with my life. Whatever this is, this magical world, this is what I want to do. So, I've been a lifelong fan, a theatre goer since I was 5.
Well, let's put that as what, 25, 30 years, let's be kind.
Oh, I
And
wish.
but I mean, you've made an
Well,
amazing career of this, and the shows you've worked on, this list is huge, isn't it?
I never really think of it in that way. I mean, I love what I do. I've always loved what I do, and I'm very lucky that when I went to school in Stourbridge, I had this amazing drama teacher called Beryl Luckins,
Hmm.
and it's all because of her. She was the person that encouraged me to follow my dreams and do the thing that you love. And she said to me, if you do the thing you love, you'll spend a lifetime of being happy at work, and that's what I've done. So I was very lucky to work with amazing people, and I was super lucky that she was the person that was my drama teacher. And we used to do all sorts of amazing plays and musicals and all sorts, Shakespeare, and I'm about to do Othello in the West End right
Hmm.
now, and it's all because of Beryl Luckins just encouraging me and all the other students. It wasn't just me to what the joy of theatre can be and how it can change your life. And that's what, in a way, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is about. It's all about transformation, and it's all about going into a magical world and exploring both the light and the dark of light, and how good usually wins. And although it's a bit of a journey getting there. So yes, Lion, the Witch, the Wardrobe was a show that I'd always wanted to produce because, again, when I was a kid, I read the book and thought the book was amazing. And yes, I'm super proud of it.
Yeah, I remember it being as one of those engaging books, and yeah, always at school wanting to work our way through the series as well. And
Yes.
I think when you've got a show like this that you're producing on that becomes basically a member of your family, and you then
Oh.
send out into the big wide world on its own. I mean, how often do you get a chance to sort of visit the relatives in this case?
Well, I'll be there this weekend. I'm going to see a show at Birmingham Rep on Monday night, and then I'll be there at the Grand on Tuesday for the opening of Lion, the Witch, the Wardrobe. So, I still have family who live up there. So, I'll be seeing all of them at the weekend. So, but Lion, the Witch, the Wardrobe's been in my life now for kind of 9 years. It took me 9 years to get from the point of having approached the estate, C.S. Lewis estate,
Mhm.
to now to be able to bring the show to the Grand in Wolverhampton. But it's so yes, it's been a long journey in making the show, but it's been in my life for a long time. And since then I've become a father, and my kids now get to go to see the show, and that's a real treat, actually, taking your own kids to see a show that you've produced. So that will be a particular thrill.
With the stamp that as a producer you get to put on this, and the creative team you build around you to sort of bring these visions to life. I mean, it is it's very much a labor of love, and you've got to believe in a project. This is something many of us don't get to experience, a sort of immersion that you get in when you're in one of these worlds.
Well, the good thing about theatre is when it works, it can be absolutely thrilling. And that's the kind of theatre that excites me. I'm really not interested in boring theatre. I want to be excited when I go to the theatre. I want to be reminded of what I felt like when I was a kid. And so to do that, you need to give the audience a visceral experience. And that's what I'm hoping that we've done with this production. We've got an amazing cast who are beyond talented. I mean, all of them. They sing brilliantly, they act brilliantly, they great choreography. We have aerial acrobatics in the show. We have extraordinary magic, and they all play instruments. So the music is all live in the production, and they're actor musicians. So you get people playing all sorts of instruments whilst flying, whilst also being Aslan, puppeteering this enormous puppet of Aslan. So we've got this incredible cast of actors who do all sorts of things that you think aren't really possible, which is what I think theatre's about, is actually making what looks impossible look possible, be possible. So yeah, every time I see this cast, I'm in awe of what they achieve every night, and taking the audience on this journey into Narnia.
Yeah, and so that journey through the wardrobe is one of the most unbelievable things to start off with,
Mm,
and then everything that follows just gets absolutely next level. But
mm,
when I read the book, there was never music there for me. And
mm.
why was there for you? What caused that?
Well, I think what we've done is really highlight the fact that this is a family that was evacuated. at the beginning of the Second World War, and they were sent to Scotland. And of course, there was so much music in that period that was evocative of that era. So we start with We'll Meet Again, where the children are being evacuated to Scotland. And of course, it was just such an anthem of that era, and it tells you exactly where you are. You really understand that this is about kids being separated from their family, but then going on a magical adventure, because we are going through difficult times right now, and I think we all need some kind of form of escapism to get through what feel like dark times. And so I think we really wanted to introduce music to it because it gives you a certain sense of time and place and a theatricality to it. So our version isn't a musical, it's a play with music, and it helps underscore all of the emotions of what the cast are feeling. The White Witch has got some incredible music underscoring her moments. There's a moment at the end of Act One where she kind of takes over the entire stage, and there's this huge rising up where she flies. And that's the kind of moment that screams out for music underscoring it. You want to make it as big and as bold, and as I said earlier, a kind of visceral experience for the audiences. So music really helps you do that. So it's, even though we're not a musical, it has a lot of music in it. And I think seeing just play the musical instruments is, again, just heightens the theatrical experience for audiences.
I always wonder what life would be like if we had a proper soundtrack. So we weren't supplying elsewhere.
Well, I do in my head. I don't know about you.
I think I need to develop one of those. I shall take tips, which would be absolutely brilliant. Well, it's the 75th anniversary of the novel, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And as we sort of follow Lucy, Edmund, Susan, and Peter off on their journeys, with all the characters they meet, all brought to life on stage, some of them with the help of some humans to maneuver them around the stage. Others will be humans in costumes, and you won't know the difference. It'll be interesting to see how it works. But grandtheatre.co.uk is where you can get your tickets. 01902 429212 is the box office number. 28th of October through to the 1st of November. An absolute treat for the eyes, ears, the spirit, and so much more besides, I think. And Chris, thank you for bringing this to a stage that has meant something so much to you over the years. And I think it'll be an amazing venue to see this in. Chris Harper, producer of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. See you there.
It's that time of year when Dr. Hilary Jones joins us to talk about the importance of our flu vaccination. And as we've been seeing in campaigns on TV, there are a number of people here who are in at-risk groups or in groups that could put others at risk who have not yet been vaccinated. Hilary, how are you doing?
I'm good, Jason. How are you?
All good here. And I have to admit, I haven't had my flu vaccine yet, so I will be getting that sorted before you tell me off. But there's a serious side to this, isn't there? Because we know from a recent survey that there are huge numbers of carers who haven't had their vaccines either.
Yeah, that's right. It's strange. You think that carers know that they're responsible for looking after vulnerable people, the elderly, disabled people, people in long-term residential care homes. And it's one thing for a carer to say, well, look, I don't really think I need one. I don't believe in them. 13% said that they don't normally have a seasonal flu jab, and 16% said that they didn't think they needed them. But actually, it's not just about that. It does give them good protection. It gives everybody good protection having a jab. But of course, they're at risk of passing an infection on to the very people that they're caring for and are devoted to. And carers do such a wonderful job that I think we just need to raise awareness and say, it's really important that carers are vaccinated. They're eligible for a free flu vaccine on the NHS. And by doing so, they're not just protecting themselves, but protecting the vulnerable people they're looking after. So I think that's an important message today.
It could cost someone their life.
Well, absolutely. And we know from last season that there was attributed to the flu was 7,757 excess deaths because of flu, and many hospitalizations, a lot of people taking time off work, even young healthy people. So the best form of prevention of the serious complications of flu, or even contracting flu in the first place, is to have a flu vaccine. And we had a really good uptake last year. The WHO suggests a reasonable target of 75% in the most eligible groups. And the UK reached 74.9%, which is really good and better than most other European countries. So there is good uptake of the flu vaccine, but we shouldn't be complacent because it's still circulating together with COVID-19 still and RSV, respiratory syncytial virus. And all of these things in the winter puts the NHS under huge pressure. So anything we can do to protect ourselves as well as helping the NHS has got to be welcomed.
Helping the NHS, helping yourself, avoiding losing time off work, because I know for employers, obviously flu season is a nightmare. If you're not bringing the virus in, then you're not causing other people to be off. And whilst we all have a great work ethic, it can still be a problem if people do turn up when they shouldn't, even if flu doesn't hit them that badly.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, employers know that it costs them quite a lot. I mean, nationally, it's been estimated that about 644 million pounds is lost to the economy because of people taking time off work with flu, which equates to about £272 per infected worker. So it's quite expensive, quite apart from the horribleness of flu. It's a really nasty illness, And people say sometimes I've got flu when they've got a bad cold. Real flu means you've got a sudden onset of a high fever, a hacking cough, a raging sore throat, and often complications such as a middle ear infection or pneumonia or worse. And the vaccination program last year is estimated by the UK Health Security Agency to have prevented something between 96,000 and 120,000 hospital admissions. So it's really good in keeping people out of trouble.
So over 65s, are those aged 6 months to 65 with certain long-term health conditions, pregnant women, carers, household contacts of immunocompromised people. I mean, that could be someone who's has had a kidney transplant or similar. So, it could be they're on immunosuppressants. Anything like that. Frontline health and social care staff to make sure that they're not passing this on to the most vulnerable. These are the people who are eligible for an NHS vaccine. Also, on top of that, we can pick one up at a local pharmacy as well.
Yes, if we're not in one of the eligible groups for free vaccine, you can go and get it done privately from your pharmacy. You don't need to make an appointment. Just walk in, ask the pharmacist, and they'll take you into a private consultation room, and within 2 minutes, it's done. And contrary to popular belief, and I always say this to you every year, don't I, Jason? It can't give you flu. The jab can't give you flu because it's a killed virus. So it can cause a slight reaction at the injection site and sometimes feeling a little bit sort of untoward for a day or two. But that's a good thing because it shows you that your immune system is kicked in to recognize the kill virus. And if the real thing comes along, your immune system's going to give you good protection.
Yeah, because it will take up to 2 weeks to build that full protection. So you need to get it done early before you get caught out, before the weather gets any worse. And of course, these things become more prevalent. And we know from Australia's figures that it's 7 times worse than it has been previously. It could just be that this is a more of a different looking thing for our bodies to contend with. So there isn't any residual immunity there.
That's right. You're very well researched, Jason. I'm going to give you an honorary medical degree for what you've done. Very good. Yeah, you're right. I mean, if we look at what happens in the southern hemisphere, we get a good idea of what's likely to happen here. So as you say, 7 times greater than a few years ago. So it is definitely circulating. And the reason why we need an annual flu jab is because, first of all, the viruses may be different, and each year that the vaccine is formulated to combat the viruses that are circulating this year as opposed to last year, and our immunity declines. What we had last year, our immunity has declined, so we need that top up.
So if we're eligible for a free one, what do we do?
We can book that through our GP, through our practice nurse, or we can go to the pharmacy and get it done in any high street pharmacy, because they'll have our details and we'll know whether we're eligible for a free one or not, or you can have a private one and pay for it.
Yeah, the private ones, I think they start at about a tenner, 15, 20 quid is normally the most you'll kind of spend on that. Worth getting it done. If not, just think of the fact that you're not going to put anyone else at risk. And of course, you won't feel unwell over Christmas and the like. So you couldn't help with something else. It could end, and always drink responsibly, I would say at this point as well. But it won't be the flu that causes you a problem if you do that.
Exactly right.
Well, Hilary, always good to speak to you. Thank you for joining us, and keep spreading that message.
And you, Jason, and don't forget to get that jab soon.
I'll get it sorted.
Well done.
When the Grange Players bring mind games to the stage, Rod Bissett, and no doubt going to be part of the goings on. He's got this amazing mind, you see. It's absolutely top notch. He currently, I believe, is sitting in the theatre itself.
I am. I am finally. I've took a break from my front study to come to the Grange foyer because we're about half an hour away from doing another mind game rehearsal.
Okay, so the rehearsals are ongoing. How far away from the show are we?
We open on November 13th, so we are less than 3 weeks away now.
Which means hopefully you know your lines, because are you in it or are you directing this time?
I am directing this one, so
Okay.
luckily I have no lines to learn.
Which is safer that way, isn't it? To be fair.
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us about you, your cast, and a bit about the story too.
So we are joined in the action at the office of Dr. Farrer in the Fairfields Psychiatry Hospital for the Criminally Insane, where Mark Styler, a writer and a wannabe sort of famous person, is you with notorious serial killer Easterman. Dr. Farrer, however, does not want to let this happen, and they are joined by Nurse Paisley, who seems scared of something.
Okay, is that all we can really give us without giving the game away?
I don't want to give too much away, but this is an absolute must for people who love serious, dark stuff, who love twists and turns and like to be kept on the edge of the seat throughout.
Okay, so it's going to be a bit of a test for your mettle, at the same time amuse and entertain with the story. So, how many people are performing in this one?
We have a cast of 3 for this one.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Joshua Gallagher, who, if people came to see my last production of Hound of the Baskervilles, will recognise him from that, and he's doing a very much sought after serious role.
Mm-hmm.
We have Dale Roberts, who is quite an old favourite of the Grange, and he also does a lot of stuff with our sister company, the Fellowship Players.
Yep.
And we have a lovely lady called Sue Davis, who has making her Grange debut with us.
Ooh, okay. So it's nice to get a twist in the lineup as well as the twists on the story.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Now, so the settings themselves, though, one set throughout, or are you
one set throughout?
Yeah, so there's not a plethora of stagehands keeping it all going back there.
No, I'm joined behind the scenes, faces to the Grange. So I've got Luke, who is my stage manager, and he is busy working out how and what props are needed at what. And I have Charlotte, who is our prompt, who I hope we never hear.
That's the plan. The bit that you don't want to pick up on. However, the things you are going to hear are going to be part of this too, because I'm going to guess the soundscape to this is like an extra member of the cast.
Oh, like you wouldn't believe on this. I mean, I've spent a lot of time working on this soundscape, picking things very carefully. Some things that you won't necessarily hear, but they're all part of the show. And a rather worrying 50-second audio jamboree, which, if it works out fine, should very, very much unsettle the audience.
Okay, so that and its timing remains a secret. Exactly what's involved is just part of the mystique and magic around this show. So what we need to do now then is know how people get tickets and remind us of those dates.
So the show is running from November 13th up until November 22nd. And people can either go straight to our website, which is grangeplayers.co.uk.
Mm-hmm.
They'll find all the links there. Or they can just phone the box office straight away on 07909 036 835.
Grab your tickets, get along, and enjoy the action, the mystery, the mayhem, the probably medical jokes. And no, there's all serious stuff, and the screams behind the scenes.
Absolutely. Should be like I say, absolutely fun one for people who like the darker side of things.
Well, it's going to be brilliant fun. Have a good one with it. Break a leg, and may your directing be in all the right directions.
Thank you so much, sir.
Now, women's rugby is hitting new heights. To tell us more about what's going on in the world of international rugby, Scottish international rugby star Rhona Lloyd is with me. How are you doing?
Yes, good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, I mean, it's not another 4 years before we get some amazing more action in the world of women's rugby. So, what's going on?
Yeah, I think women's rugby is at such an exciting time off the back of the World Cup. Obviously, England winning the final was massive for the game in this country, and
Yeah, come on, yeah, now come on. You don't have to be too nice. It was England. Yeah, we've got to have rivalry there most of the time, haven't we? Even though when you play as the Lions, you're a good gang together.
well, there is, but then England did knock Scotland out. So I think
Yeah.
once you get knocked out by a team, you have to hope that they win the whole thing, and then you can say, it was the winners that knocked us out.
That's okay. It makes it acceptable-ish.
Yes.
But I mean, it is good times. But I mean, also, the fact we have to keep calling it women's rugby, I find slightly disturbing. So can we just call it rugby going forwards?
That works for me.
That's good. Well, that's where we are. Cool.
Well, yeah, a really exciting thing that's coming up with the rugby is going to be well, I do have to say women's here because it's the first ever
I'll let you off.
women's British and Irish Lions tour in 2027. Royal London are a founding partner for that and have made it possible. And yeah, it's in over 130 years, it'll be the first time that we see a women's British and Irish Lions team. So it's hugely exciting, and hopefully this momentum that we've got off the back of the World Cup, we can keep riding that wave into the 2027 tour.
Absolutely. And Royal London do so much work in the world of rugby as well. They've been a massive partner for years now. And I think it's nice to have the ethos of their brand tying in with the fact that rugby is such an important sport. It doesn't always hit the headlines the same way football itself does. But rugby football, I mean, it's much more of a game which has been of the people in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Royal London support, it's not just at the elite level like we're seeing with the British and Irish Lions, but actually support the game from the grassroots level up. And that is an amazing partner for women's rugby to keep growing it. And I think rugby has to be accessible for everybody. I know that there's these stereotypes about, rugby being a gentleman's game, but actually that's not true. Rugby is absolutely for everybody and needs to be accessible to everybody. So that takes investment in the grassroots game, and it takes clear pathways to the elite level, which we're seeing now.
It's good to see this going on in schools and at other grassroots places. And I mean, how was your journey into the support? Because I mean, you're of an age where it really was kicking off. When I was a kid, the girls did not play rugby at all. They didn't play football. It wasn't something that was an offer. I'm 50 odd now, so I'm getting old. But we're fortunate to see there are proper opportunities for people to show off the skills that they have.
Yeah, to be honest, even when I was at school, it wasn't a thing at all. Like I was very much the only girl in my school that played. I played at a local club because there was no other girls at school that played. So I think that is something that has changed now. I think for girls that are in school now, that are in primary school or high school, they have access to rugby through their PE classes. They have access to rugby through their local communities. And I think that is just going to take the sport from strength to strength. The higher the numbers that are playing, the better the quality of players at the elite level, the better the pathways from the grassroots all the way through to that elite level. So, yeah, it's a very exciting time.
And what's it like coming together as the Lions and seeing how things have developed across the country? I mean, is there a weighting towards any one region because of the way in which different schools and different areas have been able to put money into the sport?
Yeah, I think there's a natural weighting towards the England team in the British and Irish Lions tour. I think the success of England, not just at this World Cup, but over the past 20 years in the women's game, is that really, shows how dominant they are. And I think the RFU have massively invested in their women's programme, and we're seeing the results of that, and it's up to other nations to catch up. But I do think if you look at the top 10 teams in the world, there's, Scotland, England, Ireland are all in that. Wales are sitting at 11th. I think if you can take the best players from each of those teams combined with the success and talent of the World Cup winners, the Red Roses, that creates an extremely exciting team that I think any rugby fan is going to want to support and get behind. And actually, you always naturally see in the Lions tour, historically, there has tended to be a weight towards whatever team has performed well in the Six Nations. It's a very much who's on form right now tour.
Yeah, and also sometimes the vibe goes to the whole camp for both men's and women's sides of the teams, doesn't it? So it does make a difference there. Obviously, with the Six Nations and 4 years away from the Rugby World Cup again, it's now another building process, and this Lions tour in the middle of all of this is again going to help to be part of that development, and it'd be great to see a Scotland England final next time round, and we'll see how it works out then.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. But I think that's it. Before the landmark events in women's rugby, we just had the World Cup, whereas now that we've got the Lions Tour, fitting perfectly between two World Cup campaigns. It's another event that people can get behind and get excited for. And before, as this World Cup was over, the next big event you'd be thinking about was in 4 years' time. The fact that it's now in 2 years' time, that really is a game changer for the sport.
But I mean, it's those moments in matches as well, and I know you've had some particularly enjoyable ones of late. Scoring a try against England does make a difference, but it is a game of magical moments alongside the rest of the gameplay too, and it must be great being part of that team, but still having your individual moments too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think throughout the World Cup, I think that's something that made it feel so special. We celebrated team success, but also, the try that Brazil scored against France is a perfect example. They got beat quite heavily, but there's fans crying in the crowd. The girls on the pitch are crying because that try meant so much to them. It was their first ever World Cup try. I think it's celebrating team success, but also celebrating individual success within that and celebrating each other's success, and that's something that I think rugby does very well.
Yeah, and we want more role models, so more girls are getting involved. They can see it's a sport that is for them, even though historically it has been something which has not been really well. There's been people holding people back, which obviously has fortunately started to stop. So we can start to see the fact that an enjoyable game should be available to all to play.
Yeah, absolutely. I think historically there was this tradition that your boys play rugby and the girls play netball, and that is not the case anymore. Sport does not have a gender on it, and we are starting to see that. And there's 82,000 at Twickenham for a sold-out Rugby World Cup final. You cannot deny that the appetite for women's rugby is there. So it's continuing the investment, it's continuing making it accessible from grassroots all the way up. And yeah, I think that is happening naturally, and it's happening so quickly.
And are you seeing more professional contracts out there for the clubs?
Yeah, it's getting better year on year. I think we want the professional game to develop in a way that's sustainable. And I think we're at this kind of tipping point of women's rugby going into professionalisation. There's still girls that are playing at the top level in the country in the PWR and working a full-time job alongside that. And that is the bit that is not sustainable. So yeah, I think we're transitioning into the professional game. It's getting better and better, but we need more investment to continue to grow it. It's not where it could be yet.
Oh, with the huge investment that we've got from the team here and everything that's going to go on with Royal London throughout the whole of the Lions tour, it's going to continue to raise the profile of a sport which is just showing talent off every time people see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think their investment is absolutely game changing, and they're really leading the way in that aspect. And I think it is a fantastic product, so it's getting eyes on that product. If people can see it, that might be the difference that makes them want to, okay, I'm going to go and have a go. Or even if it's just we've recruited another fan, all of this creates this buzz around women's rugby that we're living right now. And I hope that, in 10 years' time when we talk about women's rugby, we're not having to highlight that Twickenham was sold out, because actually that's just the norm.
It should be standard. And we'll look forward to the fact that you'll be doing probably... how long's your career going to go on for? I mean, you're going to be in the commentary stages at that point, or do you think you'll still be playing?
I think in 10 years' time, yeah, I think I will have moved on into commentary. But
you'll be pundit or managing,
doing,
won't you?
The game.
But there you go.
We'll see. If I'm still getting a game on the wing at 30, I think we need to invest more in the grassroots because something's going on.
The thing is, you're still going to be up there. You're still going to be a voice to be heard, even if you are thinking about retiring from the game. However, we've got some amazing matches ahead of you before that happens. We will look forward to seeing you as part of the Lions. Where do we go for all the details on everything that's going on the tour? And, of course, find out more about the support that Royal London are giving.
Yeah, I think social media or the Royal London website, you'll find all the support about the tour. All the information's there, so that would be the place to go to get involved, keep supporting women's rugby, and yeah, get excited about everything that's to come.
Well, there's a lot to come. There's great matches to see. I hope that we'll be seeing you in many of them for a long time to come. Obviously, you're not allowed to win against England, but other than that, it's going to be amazing seeing you on the pitch. Rhona Lloyd, Scottish International, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Things are going to get shoddy again at the Lichfield Garrick this Christmas, and this time it's a Shoddy Christmas Carol. Mitch and Becky are here to tell us all about it. How you doing?
We're all good, thank you. Thank you very much for having us again.
Good to talk to you. And it's a return to the wonderful world of Lichfield for you after resplendent times with a bit of detecting over the summer.
Absolutely. It was a fantastic opportunity for us to to come to Lichfield. We've took some shows in the past, like small scale ones, but to be on the the big stage, the main one, it was an amazing opportunity, and it was an amazing reception from the audience as well.
Yeah, to have the response that we had, just so excited to come back for the Christmas.
And what a Christmas it will be.
It'll be amazing. It's a lovely theatre. It's a lovely audiences, and we are so excited to be coming back. And last time we were there for the night. This time we're here for 4 weeks.
Yeah,
So
it's a lovely town as well. I'm excited to be there for.
Your relationship with Lichfield has gone from a one-night stand into a long-term relationship.
Exactly.
couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah.
But I love the strapline, all the Dickens, bar the humbug. Tell us a bit more about that.
So the show itself, it's the opening night of A Christmas Carol. However, the actors haven't turned up. So it's down to the understudy, the stage manager, and the director to put on the show themselves. And, you've got all the Dickens, but it's a whole lot of shoddy in there as well.
And it is your trademark, and it is how you've actually been wowing audiences up and down the country. Lichfield is a very lucky city to have you this Christmas, isn't it?
Oh, I think we're just as lucky to be able to perform there. I think it's it works great for us. We had, like I said, we had such a great response last time, so it's only fair that we come back and hopefully have the same again.
So we're expecting catastrophe. We're expecting jokes. A definite helping of Dickens' original script.
It'd be great. The show is coming along nicely. We're on our way to Bath tomorrow to start trying on some new gags, some new physical bits, because we're always trying to incorporate a bit of slapstick, a bit of written comedy, a bit of something for everyone, really. And again, because we pay homage to sort of the classics of the British and American comedies, I think audience sort of appreciate that. Bit of nostalgia sometimes as well.
So who are your cast?
So there's myself and Becky, and we've got an amazing performer called Jacob, who's doing clown school. He has his own one-man shows. He's a weird and wonderful man. So we're really looking forward to working with him.
It's going to be intriguing, different, and absolutely side-splittingly funny, isn't it?
Well, hopefully,
Well,
yeah. That's what we're
yeah.
aiming for.
We know that you are well received wherever you go. The reviews have been amazing. The stuff you share online is absolutely phenomenal. And it is just going to be an absolute festive treat. As we said, it is the 4th of December through to the 4th of January. That's just like the month's worth, a proper full calendar month and a day, which is, I'm sure, something that's the contractual obligation and is going to mean that you are there for everybody to enjoy. It is a 2-hour show. There's a 20-minute interval in that. Age recommendation is 8+, so it's going to be fun and a little bit it's going to tease too, isn't it, which is going to be good. Ticket prices at £25, lichfieldgarrick.com or 01543412121 to grab your tickets. And all we need to do now is also follow you on the socials, which Becky will perform for us,
which is at Shoddy Theatre, and there's many different sketch videos that you'll find on there, as well as all the information about our upcoming shows too.
Brilliant.
Instagram and Facebook too. Sorry.
Yep, Instagram. We like that. The multi-channeled. That's the way it is. Yeah. And Shoddy up by name, but not by nature.
That's us.
Brilliant stuff. Have a wonderful Christmas. I'm looking forward to coming along and seeing you because I get to review the show. And I'm sure that it is just going to be phenomenal. Thank you both.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you
Phil.
very much.
Lovely to speak to you.
Take care.
Now, when you're out and about with your pet pooch, there's lots of great ways to make sure they are behaving. Treats are one of them. Treat Easi is a product from Well Mannered Pet. The fellow behind it is Barney Worster, who's with me now. How are you doing, sir?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, it's great to
Tell
have
us a
chat.
bit about how this came about.
We've always been into pets, having chickens, dogs, hamsters, guinea pigs, gerbils that escape, fish, anything really. And my mother is a dog walker, and I was always roped into helping her really. So rain or shine, I was out there on the walks. And one day, I think 2018, 19, I was just walking along with her one Sunday actually with our own dogs. And we were discussing how carrying treats really does make a big difference to the responsiveness of our dogs. And we saw that in our customers as well. The training customers, the walking customers, it makes such a big difference, but it's such a hassle. You know, you've got greasy pockets, you've got crumbs everywhere. And I don't know what happened earlier in the week. Maybe I'd had a couple of mints or something. And I thought, why can't we have a little dispenser for the dog treats? And so I was doing my GCSE electronics projects, and I was always into design and things like that. And I thought I'm going to have a little go at making one of these, whether it was just for us to use or anything like that. And I got with the Dremel, got modifying lots of different things I could find in the shops, and I made something that worked. We used that for a little while, and once I'd finished my A levels and I was trying to think what to do, COVID had happened, and I didn't really want to go to university at that time. I thought I'd wait for a bit, and I thought, why not give it a go, making a product? And obviously that was a big challenge that I hadn't quite taken into consideration all of the different aspects, but I think some of that sort of enthusiasm carried me through a little bit and helped me just blunder my way into launching my very first product, which was a dog treat dispenser.
And this is obviously changing dog walks for so many people. I mean, something that's made a difference to you and your family and the family business, to the point at which you now have a sort of secondary family business producing, say, something which it's a great, this little Christmas gift, a stocking filler. But actually, for your dog, it is that noise that they will get used to, and they know that there's something magical coming.
Definitely, and that was a really important point for us. Is I thought it was just going to make life easier in terms of not having the mess, but something my mum definitely noticed was how responsive the dogs were to it. I think as humans, we can get very emotional with our dogs. If they're off eating burgers somewhere we can't see them, that emotion is in our voice. But when we're carrying some treats in a very intriguing box, that's always positive. And so when they know we've got that with us, they know they can work with us, they can come back, there's no risk of punishment. It's a positive reinforcement always. And you can actually do so many more things with the Treat Easi than I ever thought possible. So it's been a really exciting, journey of seeing how it helps.
And I know there are different colorways on the website. Is that something that you've sort of worked into the treats that you give the dogs? Do they know they're getting different flavors when they say a different color box?
They can do. I know some of the trainers who use it carry multiples. And so, I mean, with the new one, you can put more things in it. So you can chop up tiny little bits of hard cheese to put in it if you're giving more of like a special reward. Or I've tried to color coordinate things on the website. So, you can keep your liver treats in the brown one and your more exotic treats in the pink one.
All sorts of different ways of doing it. But say what's at the heart of this is looking after your pet, and they love it. It's about the experience, and it's about making it work for you as well.
Yeah, I think simplicity, because when it's raining, when it's a difficult day, and you just want to have a nice, relaxing walk with your dog, minimizing the faff really makes the difference. And just being able to get out there, you pick up the lead, you pick up the Treat Easi, you pick up your dog bags, and you're out. You don't have to worry about anything.
Now, I mean, you're doing this alongside your studies, and you're currently studying dentistry. So, is there going to be a dog treat which is great for cleaning teeth at the same time as being a little special thing for them?
That could be something I work on designing, definitely. I mean, a lot of the treats claim to be good for fresh breath, which we're all grateful for with our dogs. Try anything to improve that smell. But yeah, it's always an option.
So where do people go to find out about the product, a bit of the history, and of course, buy one to treat their pet?
Well, anywhere on the internet, if you Google Treat Easi or social media, we are the well-mannered pet, because that's what we're aiming to do. We're aiming to make life with your well-mannered pet simple, rewarding, and a little bit easier.
Give them a search, find out about the latest product range, and of course, those different colorways too. Well, Barney Worster from the Well-Mannered Pet, thank you for joining us.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
That's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. Back with episode 854 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.